Welcome to Educare. In this video, I'm going to explain about Mehta Gullie, which was written by Prakash Mehta. This is very interesting story and detailed story. Please listen without skipping the video. It helps you a lot to write more information in the examination to get the more marks. Let us start. Before going to that, let us talk about the author. Ved Prakash Mehta was born on 21st March 1934 in Lahore, British India. Now it is in Pakistan, to a Punjab Hindu family. His parents were Shanti Mehta and Amlok Ram Mehta. His father was a senior public health officer in the government of India. The present story has taken from his autobiography Face to Face. Mehta was well known for his courage and positive attitude. His autobiography, he reminisced about the memories of his childhood and his desire to seek education away from home despite his difficult circumstances. Mehta is basically, he wrote several articles in the New Yorker and he lived in United States. Let us talk about the characters. Here girls character Pom, Nimi, Umi, Shil, Lil and Usha. Boys Yog, Om and Mehta. Grandma Bhabiji and Grandpa Lalaji. Okay, these are the characters in the story. And Pom is the elder one, Yog is the elder one among the boys and girls. Okay, let us start. The story begins with the arrival of Mehta to the Lahore station where he met all his family members and forgot his issues in the atmosphere. He came to the Lahore after a long time. Then after he met his family members, and seeing their faces and the environment which was created by their parents there, he forgot everything, whatever he faced. The author had a one house and which was under repair, so that for a few days they went for his grandma's home to stay there. And he spent all over the waking hours in the Mehta Gully and returned home only to sleep. He used to go outside in the Mehta Gully. Gully is nothing but a street. Okay, the street name is a Mehta. Why it is called as a Mehta Gully means the people, the families of Mehta, like Tata, Birlas are there, no? Like that, the Mehta families were there. All are living in that community, in that section. So that the altogether known as a Mehta Gully. Okay, the Mehta Gully or street was separated from the main house by a 5 feet wall. The houses opened on the gully with which was of the temple road, and there was a temple road, and Arthur's grandma's house was opposite to the temple road, and there was a wall. Okay, after crossing the wall, the main road comes. Okay, there were many Mehta children and all of them played together. His father's younger brother, who had 5 children, and they were about our age and had same interest. Pom, the 2 elder daughters, you see, older not elder daughter, Shil and Lil, went to the same school as my sisters. As my sisters means as his sisters. Pom, Dimi, Umi. Yog is a elder brother. See, correct the spelling there. Elder brother. Elder not. Whenever we played any game, he was the leader. So whenever these all people started to leave to play a game, whenever the dispute comes on any decision, then they used to fight each other. They used to pass the comments each other. So then the time Pom from the girl and Yog from the boys, they used to control the teams. Kite flying was the popular sport at this time, and while the girls knitted and saved, the boys climbed the roofs to enter the competition. They had limited pocket money and it was not enough to buy the kites. See, then during his childhood, the kite flying is a major sport which he participated regularly, and girls were there. The girls were engaged in the knitting and receiving the clothes, and the boys were having some competitions on the roofs to enter. And in this competition, our author also entered. They had no money then that time to purchase the kites for their satisfaction, but they used it to collect the kites which were fallen from the sky. All the materials we need to make our kites, so they collected the fallen kites from the sky. Yoke posted us all at different stations, and as soon as a string was broken, all the eyes would focus skyward and would try to follow the direction of the crashing kites. So whenever the kite crashes, all the people they used to go and put hand over the kite. Whoever put hand first, that is their won. And so the yoga, the elder brother, he used to post them in the different stations and different places and to catch the uh, kite, so that all the people went there and they stood in the position to observe them. Whenever the thread was broken, then they focused on the kite where it falls. Everyone would rush after crashing that. Everyone would rush to the spot to collect that. During this rush, follow the kite, they jumped from one roof level to the another or the next. But other times, boys tried to help him and took his hand. He was subjected to the same rules and the same fights. So whenever the fallen, the kites, these all the boys at once they rushed to the spot to collect the kites, and along with them Mehta also went, and sometimes he was not exempted from the rules and regulations of that play as he is having disabilities. Once though I came means here the author, okay, Mehta came close to the heavy, have a very disastrous fall. He remember his sister watching the rush and horrified to see him from roof to roof, shouted that I must stop where I was lost. I lost his he lost while on the way to catch the kites, which was fallen on that. It was happened to fall from a height that was, he considered that disastrous fall. Then his sister was observing to him when he was on the roof, and she was nervous, and while walking on the height, he lost his balance and got nervous, and unfortunately he fell on the slide, and he rolled and onto the tin roof. Luckily the roof was flattened so that he missed falling into the two-storied house. Learning this, his mother warned him to stay with his sisters and let them to watch over him. And noticing this, Mehta's father advised mother not to be overly cautious of children. With this, he gained his liberty and returned to his playmates. And this much care is not needed. So let them play naturally. Don't control them. So these words told by his father, so that he thought that again he got independence to play with his playmates. Mehta used to go out house in the morning and played until the dusk, and food served whichever the house they stayed for play. Pom is the leader for girls' team, and all obeyed and respected her. She was the only orderly influence in our disorderly group, just as Yog. We means here they all the children. They returned home only in the evening with healthy appetites, and after dinner used to listen the stories of Babiji about life of the farm Ram and Sita when Lalaji was alive. She highlighted always the struggle between good and evil or bad. And after coming from home, they used to eat. After that, they used to listen the stories from their grandmother, and she used to tell about Ram and Sita's and how the farms are there and what is the struggle between good and bad. These all the stories were taught. Some fables, some kinds of stories told by her, by his grandmother. When we were still living in our grandparents' compound, my father went on an inspection trip and took mother, leaving us in the charge of Sister Pom. And once during our parents' absence, his father returned from his evening walk, and when the brother Om teased him for his promised sweets, he tapped him on the back with his cane. Om came to her crying and told her grandfather bet me. So when their parents were absent, then I'm sorry, there are some mistakes in the text. Just you correct while writing. I brief it in correct sentences. Okay, when their parents were not in the home, then their grandfather came, and Om was a small brother. He's a little brother, and he asked sweets to his grandfather, and he didn't say anything, so that he teased him. Because of his teasing to him, just he patted on his back, and he came crying to the Pom. Pom got angry because grandfather bet her brother, so that Pom got angry, and she gathered all the things together, and they left home. While leaving, the nobody stopped them, nobody said anything, and no one asked them. And holding each other hands, they turned towards the Lawrence garden, and Sister Pom brought us all a cup of ice cream, which she said should take care of our dinner. And she brought a cup of cake, cake ice cream she brought, and they reached Lawrence garden, and there she gave them ice cream, and told them to adjust with the ice cream tonight. And then they sat down in the corner of the street. To his relief, he heard a faint familiar call from the servants, and the shouts grew louder and still. And he heard that calling of the children. Then he thought that he is there, but he didn't say, because his sister was angry on him to do not respond to the call of. So that he just kept quiet, and finally they came to them, and they find out in the dark with their torches, and the poem was sat immobile. His uncle, who accompanied the party, scolded them for leaving and causing so much unnecessary concern for all the new. All six of us might have been kidnapped, and because they left home, whenever this grandfather teased them, begged him, so that his uncle came and shouted them, scolded them, why you left the home without informing to anyone, and if you might have kidnapped, who will take responsibility? Okay, that and this he shouted, but there is no use of that. He paused and stood there itself and silently looking at them. Then he gently suggested, let's go home, he said. But no one started to move, because they wanted apology from their grandfather. When the grandfather said sorry, then they started back to their grandfather's house with happily. Okay, this is the story. I think you understood that. I just briefed it. It is a lengthy story. There will be some mistakes. Okay, I ask you to excuse me, because while recording I'm in rush, I'm in hurry, so that some might have been scrolled down the mistakes. I think you will correct that. Okay, thanks for watching this video and share with your friends.